Resolution is technically the number of pixels per unit of area, rather than the total number of pixels. Since the beginning, the resolution has been described, accurately or not, by the number of pixels arranged horizontally and vertically on a monitor. The term resolution is not correct when it is used to refer to the number of pixels on a screen. That says nothing about how densely the pixels are clustered. That is covered by another metric called PPI, pixels per inch. You may have seen the screen resolution described as something like 720p, 1080i, or 1080p. What does that mean? To begin with, the letters tell you how the picture is painted on the monitor. A P stands for progressive and an I stands for interlaced. The interlaced scan is a holdover from television and early CRT monitors. The monitor or TV screen has lines of pixels arranged horizontally across it. The monitor's electronics paint each screen line by line too quickly for the eye to see. An interlaced display paints all the odd lines first and then all the even lines. Since the screen is being painted in alternate lines, flicker has always been a problem with interlaced scans. Manufacturers have tried to overcome this in various ways. The most common way is to increase the number of times an entire screen is painted in a second, which is called the refresh rate. The most common refresh rate was 60 times per second. In a progressive scan, the lines are painted on the screen in sequence, rather than first the odd lines and then the even lines. If you want to translate 1080p, for example, is used for displays that are characterized by 1080 horizontal lines of vertical resolution and the progressive scan. As people moved away from the older CRT displays, the terminology changed from refresh rate to frame rate. The frame rate is the speed with which the monitor displays each separate frame of data. What is the aspect ratio? The term aspect ratio was initially in motion pictures, indicating how wide the picture was in relation to its height. Movies were initially in 4:3 aspect ratio, and this was carried over into television and computer displays in the early days. It is the aspect ratio that determines the resolution possible based on specifics like width and height. The most common resolutions that can be used for each aspect ratio are as follows. Some of the 4:3 aspect ratios include resolutions like 640 into 480, 800 into 600, 1280 into 960. 16:10 aspect ratio resolutions include 1280 into 800, 1440 into 900, 1680 into 1050. 16:9 aspect ratio resolutions include 1280 into 720 HD, 920 into 1080 FHD, 2560 into 1440 QHD, 7680 into 4320 8K. Until 2010, 16:10 was the most popular aspect ratio for widescreen computer displays. However, with the popularity of high-definition televisions, such resolutions such as 720p and 1080p made this term synonymous with high-definition resolutions. 16:9 became the high-definition standard aspect ratio. What about the numbers 720p, 1080p, 1440p, 2K, 4K, and 8K? When high definition TVs became the norm, manufacturers developed a shorthand to explain their display resolution. The most common numbers you see are 720p, 1080p, 1140p, or 4K. Here is how the shorthand translates. 720p is 1280 into 720, commonly known as HD resolution. 1920 into 1080 is usually known as FHD or Full HD resolution. 2560 into 1440 is commonly known as Quad HD resolution and is typically seen on gaming monitors and on high-end smartphones. 1440p is 4 times the resolution of 720p or HD ready resolution. 3840 into 2160 is commonly known as 4K Ultra HD resolution. It is a high huge display resolution and it is found on premium TVs and computer monitors. 2160p is called 4K because the width is close to 4000 pixels, offering 4 times the pixels of 1080p or Full HD. 7680 into 4320 is known as 8K and it offers 16 times more pixels than the regular 1080p or Full HD resolution.